a seismic trade confrontation has officially erupted between the United States and Brazil, pushing bilateral relations to a historic breaking point. Washington has formally triggered Section 301 of the Trade Act, slamming a massive 25% tariff on a vast array of Brazilian imports. This is no longer just a diplomatic spat, it is a full-scale economic offensive. The administration, acting under direct orders from President Trump, claims this is the final resort after months of what it calls bad faith negotiations.
Today, President Trump directed USTR to impose a 25% tariff on most Brazilian imports. Let there be no confusion about why President Lula and his government have not negotiated with the U.S. in good faith.
Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has hit back with fury, branding the U.S. move as a lamentable milestone and a blatant violation of international trade law. Lula is flatly rejecting the justifications behind the tariffs, highlighting that the U.S. has maintained a massive trade surplus with Brazil for over a decade. For Brasilia, this is not just an economic penalty. It is viewed as a nakedly political provocation meant to influence Brazil's upcoming domestic elections.
There is no justification for unilateral measures against our country. According to statistics from the U.S. government itself, the United States has accumulated a surplus of $424.5 billion in goods and services with Brazil over the past 15 years.
The narrative from Washington remains unyielding. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has doubled down on the administration's position, framing the tariffs as a direct consequence of the Lula government's intransigence. The U.S. is pointing to a laundry list of grievances, from digital payment systems and intellectual property to environmental policy, as proof that Brazil has been gaming the system. For the Trump administration, this is about forcing a free and reciprocal trade reset, regardless of the fallout.
His economic policies are bad for Americans and bad for Brazilians. For the past year, Lula has put his own ego ahead of making a deal for the welfare of the Brazilian people, and these tariffs are the price for that.
At the heart of this standoff are deep-seated clashes over digital sovereignty, environmental accountability, and market access. Brazil maintains it has provided airtight evidence to refute every allegation, accusing the U.S. of ignoring facts in favor of political agendas. With industry stakeholders warning of economic disruption, the two nations are hurtling toward a trade war that threatens to shake up global supply chains.
We have demonstrated that the allegations against PIX and the regulation of digital platforms are unfounded, and the accusations regarding deforestation are absurd.
Brazil is not going down without a fight. The government has vowed to trigger its powerful economic reciprocity law and is already preparing to drag the United States before the World Trade Organization, the WTO. As the July 22nd implementation date looms, Brasilia is actively seeking to diversify its trade partnerships, signaling a potential long-term pivot away from Washington. This isn't just about tariffs. It is a test of whether international trade rules can survive this explosive surge of economic nationalism.
Brazil will immediately initiate the procedures to activate the instruments provided for in the Reciprocity Law, approved unanimously by the National Congress, and will resume the issue within the framework of the WTO dispute settlement mechanism.